Hey, good morning, everyone. It is Coach Nick and Nick Kleitch back in the booth here. If you're seeing me for the very first time, hello. My name is Nick Kleitch. I'm the host of the Life with Nick podcast and the creator of the Life with Nick YouTube channel. My channel is predicated around personal growth, personal development, and kind of everything that goes underneath of that. And so I just share that to be very upfront with you. If you're interested in me and who I am and how I go about my business, head over to the channel, check out the intro page, and see if I am for you or not. I want to be mindful of your time and my time as well too. For those that do know what's going on, we're going to be getting into chapter 14 of our book read here, Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. We just came off chapter 13 where we discussed how opportunities are found in crisis and some tactics around how to not only be the person that wants to be in those moments, but also how to build confidence when you're actually practicing and getting ready to go for when crisis naturally pop up in our lives, unfortunately. But today's episode is all going to be about winning and how to get that winning feeling. And the reason that this is important and why I address it specifically as it pertains to the book is when we make change in life, especially as it pertains to our self-image, which is a very kind of complex, nitty-gritty work type of situation. You know, this isn't a 4-week program and you're off and running. This is a lifetime change. We need to use and leverage every ounce of help and resources to get us to that change and ultimately believe that change. And one of those resources is a winning feeling. Now, you might be like, well, what is a winning feeling or why is this relevant? And really what it comes down to, in my opinion, is the winning feeling is just feeling really good about your day-to-day life. You know, you are winning at life. You're winning in your relationships. You're winning in your fitness. You're winning in as many areas as you possibly can. And it feels good to win, right? Winning is something that we should look to strive to every single day. And just as a general sense, I'm not trying to sit up here and be like a guru of, oh, this is how you live your life. But it's more fun when you're winning. And people that have competed in sports and other things know that that is inherently true. So, chapter 14, how to get that winning feeling. So, essentially, as a reminder, our creative mechanism operates in terms of goals and final outcomes. Once you give it a definite goal to achieve, you can depend on its automatic guidance system to take you to your goal. Our second servo mechanism, which is the creative mechanism that I am discussing here, removes the need for conscious thought when pursuing our goals. And this is the case because we couldn't consciously think our way to our goal. We need to be able to live and go pursue the goal, right? And so this basically is something that helps us along the way. So when you supply the goal first to yourself by thinking in terms of final vision and result, you begin to visualize and visualize how it would feel if you achieved the end result that you're looking for. And this is how it kind of helps contribute to your success. You're directing your success mechanism towards where you want to go. So again, as a quick caveat here, the creative mechanism supplies us with a lot of the how-to in terms of ideas, in terms of unknown action steps when pursuing our goals. Basically, it is this little helper that we have that not only keeps us oriented, but like I said, gives us ideas, new perspectives, whether that's attributes of character in terms of persistence and resilience. All of these things are contributing factors of our creative mechanism. Last but not least, this mechanism, again, is not an immediate type of relationship. You can't just go into your creative mechanism and just get the idea right here, right now. It's spontaneous, and there needs to be a trusting element when it gets into some of these pieces. And so when you're trying to get into your creative mechanism, then it gets a little bit off kilter because it is spontaneous in nature. So the more you try to frustrate it and channel it, the worse it becomes versus if you trust it and you direct it and you feel like it is free to creatively operate, that's when it's at its best. So how does that pertain to anything that I just said right here? Well, I have to redefine that we even have this in the first place to remind you what the premise of the book is about. But then with that, as we get more of a winning feeling in pursuit of our goals and we're using our second servo mechanism as a help to our goals, this helps really kind of all culminate and marinate and generate confidence and direction towards how we get that winning feeling, which ultimately helps us hit our goals at the end of the day. So setting up your machinery for success. So there is a powerful piece to contribute to living the good life, in my opinion, and in a lot of successful people's opinion. And that force can carry us to the next level. It can give us confidence. It can like make all of our future moves feel effortless. And what we're talking about here is momentum. And so to call upon momentum, we must invoke the winning feeling. So winning feeling leads to action, which leads to momentum, which then promotes more action towards our goal. That's where this winning feeling is like the oil to everything that we're trying to pursue. And so as we get into this, I want to talk a little bit about how to develop this. So everyone really has won something in their life, whether it was with the team or personal, and it feels good to win. Most people want to experience winning because it feels. But how do we get to that winning feeling, right? So it all starts with developing that. And you can generate this feeling through a couple different ways. The first way, and this is a little bit of a kind of caveat towards my perceptions a little bit, but essentially what it is creating a series of baby action steps that generate confidence through action to completion. So I'll say that one more time. This is like where we need to really dial in for today. So creating a series of baby action steps that generate confidence through completion. And these baby steps can be so simple, like tying your shoes, eating breakfast, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, completing that first task at work. And so what we're doing to develop the winning feeling, to get the momentum going, to provide us with more energy towards our goal, is we're slowly building confidence through taking more and more action, and we're getting confidence through completed action. So it's like, hey, I have this whole script written out. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to get my coffee in. I'm going to go clean up for the day. I'm going to dress good and I'm going to feel good. And then I'm going to go get that first thing done at work. All of this slowly starts to build confidence. And it builds confidence in a way that says, hey, I just knocked out these 4 tasks. I feel great. I'm knocking things off on my list. And that slowly builds that momentum, and it slowly builds that winning feeling. So essentially, once we've done this enough in the day and also in the week, we can begin to cultivate, again, that winning feeling and that winning mindset. And it's because when we complete things, we have evidence that we're succeeding in our pursuits, right? That's the whole point of the goal, is we're completing the action it takes to get to our goal. So this is where momentum, again, slowly builds. Once that snowball gets rolling, it can eventually turn into an avalanche of an unstoppable force. And this force helps us win. And when we win, we feel good. So all of this is to say that when you're looking to set up this winning feeling in your life, in pursuit of the good life and wanting to win more, these micro action steps every single day, every single week, every single month, they begin to build confidence and momentum. So I know it was slightly redundant there, but I really want to drill that point in. So think about that in your life. For example, think of how you can set yourself up to create baby steps for you to become more in that winning feeling. And then with that, just be proud. Be proud that you check things off the list, as simple as tying your shoe, saying I love you to someone, investing in your health, investing in your body. All of these things can give us these pools of evidence that say this is the type of person that I am trying to become, because I'm improving my self-image through the actions I said I was going to take. The next piece is gradualness is the secret. So basically, this concept in the book lays out a training method or a work method that helps enable success as you look to build on your early stage momentum. So all this, in short, simply says over time, you can slowly begin to take on more workload. So let's say week 1, we go for a 20-minute walk and we have just basic objectives at work. We can do that and complete that and do that again and again and again. But eventually, what we're looking to do is slowly take on more capacity. And that could be either more training, more work, more of whatever we want to build on. And so as we are completing these routines, building momentum, we can slowly take on more. Now, we're not going to try to always take on more to the point of being completely uncomfortable and having so much to deal with that our head comes off. But as we develop into being able to handle more, we're going to be adding more value. in our relationships, at work, in our body. And that's when we can really start leveling up. So, again, as these micro gains in terms of your small baby steps leading to confidence, within that being able to slowly take on more capacity till you reach about your threshold, that creates this amazing amount of winning feeling, because you're winning in what you're doing, and that feels really good, and you're taking on more. You feel yourself growing, you feel yourself developing. So why is this important? Right? It's a good question. Why is this important? So when we're in our winning feeling, our creative system that we just talked about is operating in full swing. When we're feeling successful and confident, we generally act successful and confident. Our system is designed to relax into success. Remember, when we're course correcting and failing and finding our way, we learn how not to fail as much. And the less we fail, the more we succeed. And the more we continue to succeed, the more we build on success becomes our focus towards a narrow goal and a successful operating system. So when we're going out here trying to build confidence and all this stuff, right? You're trying to live a better life. You're trying to develop and grow personally. What this all kind of boils down to is we want to get as much of a narrowed focus, output, energy to the goal that we're trying to achieve. And at first you might fail, and you probably will fail. I failed a lot in my life. And so your spectrum is so wide because you don't know the way. But as you continue to get better and continue to get better and continue to get better, you begin to really channel this wonderful sense of energy, commitment, tenacity, perseverance towards your goal. With that, that enables the creative mechanism to help you along. But it can't operate well when you're not in this kind of pursuit of the goal. Let's see here. Kind of came in guns blazing. Excellent. Okay, the last thing before we move on to the next thing in this video. So final note, getting the winning feeling is not just about winning an event, winning a task, or winning a game. We can't win at everything in life. We've all figured this out. However, and I should say you don't want to win because failure is where you kind of learn and grow. But again, it's the feeling of winning when you're at your best, in momentum, in confidence, that we want to be able to repeat again on a daily basis. Okay, so the benefits of skill development. Okay. So building on the topic of focus energy towards our goal and the winning feeling, let us dive further into the how-to of the operation. So earlier in this book, we discussed how electronic servo mechanisms, computers and machines, make use of stored data. This data, which is comparable to human memory in this particular analogy, remembers successful actions and repeats them basically as the machine would do it. So the machine is never, a machine is never looking to fail. It's not efficient to fail. It's looking to succeed. So similarly for us, when we get into these efficient, successful operating systems through taking baby steps, generating momentum, all this good stuff, we forget all the failures, and then that also helps us dial into more of the successes. Okay, so as we're getting better at what we do, this also enables all these other feelings and characteristics to, again, further channel, so that way we can take on more and more and more and be better at taking on more. So we don't just naturally get that, right? But skill learning is largely a matter of trial and error. When we begin to manifest winning and we're winning more regularly, we're getting better quality skills because we're getting more confident in doing what it is that we're trying to do. So once we're practicing, we're failing, we hit success. We now remember success, we forget failure, and we commit success even more and more and more. So this is the whole journey of getting better and living the good life is failure, success, forget failure. Success. Take on more, failure, minus failure out, we find success. And that is that wonderful benefit of skill development towards where we're trying to go. Because if we're going to win more in life, we need more skills and better skills. So with that, again, once we have that successful pattern or routine, our brain immediately forgets failure, similarly to a machine, right? So winning actions lead to winning feelings. and this will put just a little bit on the cherry on top here. The more we win and feel like a winner, the more we dim the bad moments and feelings of failure. If we work hard enough at these practices, failure only shows up occasionally and rarely. Mentally, begin to play with the idea of complete and inevitable success in everything that you do. So eventually we'll get to the point where we're so good that failure rarely reaches and sees and comes up in our life. Now, it's going to take a long time to get there, and that's why we're constantly in the state of growth throughout the duration of our life. But as we get to a certain threshold, we would have done so much of the process that we've talked about in this episode that failure is rarely ever showing up because we have such a good foundation of quality skills to go after our goal. And we also have momentum and feel the winning feeling and have the second servo mechanism and all of that good stuff. So hopefully you're getting the anticipation of me reiterating these points, is that all of this turns into channeled energy, which is what we really want on our side. So addressing the opposite. So for someone who has not experienced success in winning a lot in their life, it can feel like a daunting task and that you don't belong in success. And I've even been there at certain points too. If you experience that, you begin to believe that you can't win. Don't believe this false narrative that your own brain will tell you that it's not a true reality. Everyone is born to win, and everyone has an equal right to go out and achieve winning in their life. So if you feel yourself sabotaging yourself as you're in pursuit of winning, just realize that, hey, that is not a typical thing for a typical person, right? Even if you failed and have this whole body of evidence that says, I'm a failure, I can't win, we can pause that reality and say, no, we're going to step in, use the tactics that we're talking about right now, use the book and this leverage point to say, hey, we're going to just pause that and we're going to not believe that anymore, and we're going to believe that we can win, set up the baby steps and the momentum, so then that way we're building this new body of evidence that says, you know what, in the past I might have failed, but right now I'm on track to be a winner. And that's how you can really shift things. When you do that, you're beginning to rewrite the story of yourself, right? So again, it's really hard if you have kind of grown up and not known success to believe that you can be successful. But that's the beautiful part of this book, right? That's the self-image that we're trying to adjust and change for the better life, is that when we can use these tactics that we've talked about, when we create momentum in the winning feeling, we begin to now ascend into a next version and next evolution of who we are. Eventually, when you have enough evidence, we don't even need to worry about being a failure at one point in terms of thinking we're a failure. We'll have so much self-belief and so much evidence at a certain point that we've won that we are now converting into a winner and having a championship mindset. I love that piece in this. Okay, getting to kind of the second core message here in today's episode, and that is the old recorder can be changed. So we all have a storehouse of data in our brain of both positive and negative memories of our past. How we use this storehouse is of us and of our choosing, right? So when we get into adulthood, we need to think to ourselves and understand that we have the opportunity to rewrite old stories and old narratives that we've been telling ourselves. And that is the real game changer. That's the real game here in life, is understanding that all this stuff, no matter how old you are, it can be a compelling story that we tell ourselves of, I'm this or I'm that, or I can't do this or I can't do that. But what the reality is if we want to take the time to really make lasting change in our lives, we can pause and we can become present in today, in this moment right now, and we can move forward in the fact that we're rewriting a new script and a new story that we're going to believe. No one in life can tell you what you do, right? You can go out and change all of this, and you have to believe that, which I know might seem daunting right now, but just trust me. The story of yourself, as it is accumulated over your life, is just to the present date. If we hit that wall and cut it off and build the barrier up, we can then change into this new self-image that we're trying to leverage, and we can evolve. Removing these old stories may or not even, or some of these stories that we believe about ourselves may or not even be true. It's just something in childhood that we were told by a parent or by a teacher or by our friends. And realistically, those old stories can truly kind of take over our life if we don't ever pause and then get to this new chapter of what we want to create and what we want to design. So old stories can prohibit the element of starting and maintaining momentum. Because as we get going, we can be making some progress, let's say, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, Yep, that's the story right there. I always come up short. And it's like, well, you did in the past come up short, but that doesn't mean you'll come up short in the future. So the habits and the actions will give you again the body of evidence to say, you know what, I'm rewriting my story to say this is the type of person that I want to be. That's that evolution we're looking for. Okay, getting towards the end here, so bear with me, but hopefully this is a lot of good stuff and it's motivating you because I want you to feel that way. So in reference of the power of stories and using these memories, we must recognize that the past is meant as a library and not a prison. Our past memory should help us make sense of the present reality, but in the present moment, we can begin to cultivate new stories that will eventually override old stories and help us adapt. Who you were in 7th grade, sophomore year of high school, all that crap, it's not meant to be forever. It's just meant to be to whenever you're seeing this video or engaging in personal growth and personal development, that you can begin to say, that is all in the past. I have the storehouse of past memories. However, for the rest of my life, I'm going to focus on rewriting new stories to create new opportunities that generates new evidence and new action steps towards the person that I want to be. In the present is our responsibility, right? We take the responsibility of saying all of this. I'm not going to be this, even if you think you're a loser at some point or you're not worthy. That's an old story. That's not true. Again, everyone was born to win. And so when we take that divide and say, I'm taking action now, I'm building evidence towards this new reality, that's when people can really feel like they're becoming a winner. And furthermore, develop that winning mindset. That's what this is all about. Develop that winning mindset. The last piece to this kind of subcategory of record player that I really liked is take an actual record player, for example. Do you continue every day to put the same record on the same record player and play that around? Or do you look to say, hey, you know what, this has been great. I want to take a fresh slate, a fresh new record, and I want to start playing that today. And I want to change, I'm going to make this change. I'm going to take out the old, put in the new fresh slate, and all of a sudden, that new fresh slate, that new record can be exciting, it can be unique, it can be new stories, and it can change your mental imagery about yourself. So think of that as kind of the final analogy here, is we have 5 old records, and every day, let's say we play a new one, but they're all old. They're all doing the same shit we've already done. We want to take those off, put them in the storehouse and say, you know what? From here on out, we're going to have 5 new, fresh records that we're writing that we want to put on the record player. And they're going to sound much better because they're that of a winner and what a winner would do. And then over time, we're creating that new self-image, which leads to more success. Okay, the final piece here that I will place is called think in terms of possibilities versus reliving negative events. So we're goal-striving beings by nature. We've talked about this. So we must actively work to set goals for ourselves at different scales. As we supply the goal, we must begin to think in terms of possibility rather than negative outcome. So to fully get that creative mechanism working, the possibility of the goal must be seen very real in our brain and our nervous system. This kind of goes back to visualization. But what this is really saying is just because you failed in the past and you had that old record playing, when you put the new record on, think in terms of I can, I will, I must. Getting that new kind of language and getting and thinking in terms of possibilities and winning and love and success and health and all these new great qualities and thought process will help you convert over that self-image as well. So that's just a small caveat to what we've been talking about, but it's massive because how often do we shoot down our own ideas? How often are we out here not able to believe that we're going to be a winner? And to that I say, all that is BS, right? If you think in terms of possibility, you think in terms of yes, I can, you think in terms of we're going to make this happen, slowly that brings a vitality to life, a confidence to life. And then again, once you've built up enough evidence of that new script and that new possibility, things start coming and happening for you to make lasting change. It's quite a thing of beauty. So now that we've talked about generating the winning feeling, having some tactics, having some strategies to do that, thinking in terms of possibilities, taking off the old records and putting on new records, we can conclude with a couple of ingredients, and that is faith and courage. And essentially, I just want to put out here that bring in spirituality to this, bring in some kind of higher power, bring in some kind of whatever your belief system to say, hey, whether it's God, whether it's the Buddha, whether it's universal energy, whatever, take that as like this kind of, again, sprinkle of ingredients in. I can do this. God put me here to do this. The universe put me here to do this. I have the universe on my side. I have God on my side. I have whatever spiritual practice you do on your side to make it through this, because that helps really believing in yourself to accomplish these tasks. Because when you're pouring the gas on the fire to amplify your current kind of energy and that spark, faith can be a huge element to help direct you and continue to win and build confidence. So that was a lot that I have thrown at you guys here today, but I hope you enjoyed chapter 14, how to get that winning feeling, see how it involves in the greater greater lifespan of this book. We have one more chapter to go, the final chapter, chapter 15 of this book series, Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Been such a great book read thus far, and I think that this chapter can really help you reframe who you are and how to get to that new kind of direction in your life. I know I've said this is the last thing a lot, but this is actually the last thing. One more kind of extra way to look at things is looking for motivation to prove people wrong. I use this a lot in my life, and I use people that didn't believe in me. I use people that doubted me. I use that negative energy as fuel to say, you know what? I already have this evidence of a new person and a new self-image that I'm working towards. I'm going to find this as the negative energy as further motivation to say, you know what? All those people were wrong. All those people that didn't believe in me will use that as motivation to say, you know what? I'm going to put them down, in the sense of I'm going to show them that I am this new person. And also, I'm going to show myself. I'm going to prove myself right to myself if I've been negative in the past. Especially if you've been called a loser by people or you feel like a loser, say, that is not the version of myself that I'm going to put up with anymore. I'm going to prove myself right. I'm going to prove all these people wrong, that I am the person that I want to be in this lifetime, because life is short and we need to put conscious energy towards the versions of ourselves that we want to be. So that will actually be the last thing that I say. I hope you guys enjoyed chapter 14 a whole heck of a lot. Let's get to chapter 15 and round out this book series. And again, thank you guys so much for subscribing, hanging along with me, learning and growing. It's been great. Cheers.